May, and it's Mental Health Month. Let's chat about it.
Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
Welcome to the EML podcast with JB and the doctor. I'm the doctor, Dr. Andre Caruso, and I am flying solo today because we are going to talk about mental health. As you might have heard by now, May is Mental Health Month. So we want to be aware of the struggles and the challenges around mental health and mental wellness. It's very important in the business world, especially. So we're going to dive a little bit, talk a little about that, have some misconceptions cleared up, and hopefully you take something from it. So I'd love to hear from you guys on your thoughts and things that you might be going through yourself. Quick note, this is not therapy, and this is strictly for information. So if you need help, please get help. There's a number you can reach. It's like 911, but it's 988. It is a suicide and crisis line. It's a national line. It's been created to help for any kind of mental health emergencies. So if you need help, please get help. And we'll touch on that as we go. So let's dive into it a little bit. May, Mental Health Awareness Month. There's a lot of misconceptions, I think, around what mental health is and what it needs to be. As a lot of you probably know, I'm a psychologist and have a therapy practice as well as my work here at Evolve Performance and Development with JB and the doctor. And I think people get scared when they hear the word therapy. They feel that you have to have something that's diagnosable. And a lot of people don't fall into that category. Here's the thing. It doesn't need to be diagnosable. Most things aren't diagnosable, but that does not mean we don't have symptoms. A lot of people go through some depressive symptoms. They go through some anxious symptoms. There's some medical conditions, symptoms, just like you would get maybe not a full-blown cold, but you might have a stuffy nose. So you might feel a little more lethargic. You might feel a little bit overwhelmed. You might feel extra tired. That doesn't mean you have major depressive disorder, but it means that you have some of the symptoms of depression. And those are reasons that you can have a conversation with someone. The fun part about going to therapy is it doesn't have to be about any of those things. It could be anything that you just want to talk about. Therapy is just a good setting where you can have a conversation with someone who's not going to judge you with no expectations. When you talk to your family and your friends, they all have their own biases, even if they don't want to and don't intend to. This is just another safe space that you can have a conversation with someone. So just keep that in mind. I know there is a lot of misconceptions around therapy and what it partakes to go, and generally that you have to be dealing with something extremely wrong or something, again, diagnosable, which is, again, big misconception. So hopefully we push past that. And if you need someone, please find someone. There's great resources out there to get a therapist. Sometimes there's some work that we can do on our own, though, right? If we're feeling some of these symptoms, how can we do some self-care to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves? Stress in business world, probably one of the biggest ones, right? That's where we see most of the challenges. Approximately 90% of the people that go to the emergency room thinking they're having a heart attack is really just symptoms of stress. That number goes up if we just talk about going to their doctor. So over 90%, closer to 95% of the people going into their doctor thinking they're having heart issues are just dealing with stress. Stress has a big effect on our body. Stress affects the way we sleep, the way we eat, the way we breathe. Our functions of our body get just destroyed by excess stress. Now, we can't avoid stress 100%, but we can definitely do things to kind of control that stressors. Paying attention to how you feel, making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you're taking breaks throughout the day, making sure you have someone to talk to. Again, it could be a therapist, it could be a friend, but just having a place, some sort of outlet to be able to share some of the things that's going on. Talk to your dog. They listen to anything. Just have some sort of outlet that you can share some of these things with. Just kind of helps you feel a little bit better. Sleep, can't be understated how important sleep is. Strive for that 8 hours, but 7 works for a lot of people. You got to find your sweet spot. I think it's different for everyone where they really need to be. Those of you that tell me you can get by on 3-4 hours sleep, I'm sure you can, but it's doing damage to your body. There's no doubt about that. We're not made to do that more than a day. Like that, it's a short-term thing we can do. We can survive it. We adapt very well, but it's not good for you. The other thing that's not looked at a lot is water intake. Dehydration can stress you. Dehydration can show up in different ways. Our body does not always signal when we're thirsty, or sometimes it does, and we just ignore it because we think we're hungry instead, and it's really just dehydration. There's different levels of that dehydration, but they also have effects on our body. As a lot of you probably know, our mind and body has a strong connection. Our gut health, everything, vagus nerve runs all the way from top to bottom to keep you regulated. So if there's something that's off, the body has to create a compromise somewhere else. So a stressor is one of those ideas that your body's telling it, hey, something's not right. You have to make some sort of adjustment. And it can adjust, and that's why you can keep going. But it's not made to adjust that often. It's made to adjust as is needed and then to reset back to where it's supposed to be. So every time that we keep ourselves in these extremes, we're taking away from the body's normal function and our brain's normal function. So it takes a toll on us. No matter how good we think we are, it's going to take a toll on us. So what are some of the other ways that you can do some stuff about it, right? Make sure you are taking some time to yourself, especially as we're talking a lot about business on this podcast. Hustle culture, not a fan. I like the idea of doing work, and I like the idea of getting things done, and I like the ideas of around the hustle culture, like put the energy in, do those things. But when someone's saying don't take days off or hustle 365, it's not accurate. That's not a good way to do it. That's why we always did the hustle 265 here, right? Make sure you're taking those 100 days off a year to find that balance. We want to have that balance. It doesn't mean you can't get a lot done. It doesn't mean you can't hustle. It doesn't mean you can't overproduce. But you have to listen to your body, and it needs breaks. And the funny part about that, what we miss a lot of those times, is those breaks actually make us more productive. So we don't have to go nonstop to get the benefit. We actually taking breaks helps you refresh, and you get a lot more accomplished in a lot less time and a lot more accurate. The longer that we deprive ourselves, the less accurate we tend to be on anything that we're trying to do. So taking breaks, getting sleep, getting water, talking to people, even if it's just your dog, letting that stuff out is a great way to do it. Cat lovers too. You can talk to your cat. I just happen to be a dog person, so that's my default. You talk to your bird. You talk to your goldfish. Talk to yourself. Sometimes just saying it out loud is definitely helpful. There's lots of other tips. Breathing, we've gone through some in the past. Reading, watching TV, sometimes frowned upon, but it's great. It's a great distraction. It's a great way to just give yourself a minute to relax. I think the key with any of these things is we want to do things in moderation, right? We want to make sure we're working in moderation. We're taking our breaks. We are eating, drinking, everything that we do, and there should be some balance to it. That level is different for different people. There's different extremes that people need, but just finding your sweet spot, but making sure that you're running through that and keeping that balance for yourself. There's a lot more I can say, but this is supposed to be a quick hit. So I'm going to start wrapping that part up, but I would love to hear what you guys do. Stress. We know what stress can do to us, right? Like, it matters. We have to pay attention to it. If you need help, get help. Remember, there's 988 out there. Psychology Today is one platform. You can get out there, Google, ask friends, family for suggestions on therapists. If you're out there and you meet a therapist, ask if they're a good fit for you or have them refer someone. Therapists always know a good fit for another person. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have any questions, you could always slide into our DMs. I'd be happy to guide you in the right direction. But again, I can't work with you as the therapist in this world because this is something else that I'm doing. There's rules against these things, but I can help put you in the right direction. So if you do need some advice, or if you're local, I can definitely send you some very reputable people. We got you covered. Don't worry about that. If you want to follow anything else that we're doing, you can always follow us at jbandthedoctor.com. You can get all our information there. You can see on us all our social media at JB and the Doctor. Don't forget to check out our Evolve networking events that happen quarterly. Some awesome workshops coming up over the summer. We got to keep you busy over the summer. We got to keep you thinking, keep that mind flowing. Vacations are good too, but we find that balance, right? It's all about that balance. And of course, we ask all the time. JB does it much more eloquently than I do, but if you're watching and listening and you've got any value from us, please give us a like, rate us 5 stars, share us with your friends. That helps us more than you know. And we appreciate everyone that does. If this is your first time listening, there's usually another tall, handsome guy sitting next to me that when we do this, today you just got me. But until then, we'll see you later. Remember, mental health matters. Make sure you're staying on top of everything. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, yo.